Hi! Now we get back to Europe and we get back to our friends, the lab technicians. I'm happy and proud to present my Italian friend Simone Maffei that will present the third lecture of Day 4 of the International Aesthetic Master 2017. Simone graduated as a dental technician in 1996 and began working in the laboratory of his father William in Modena. He has written various articles in national and international journals on applied photography in the dental fields and on aesthetics. He currently teaches on dental photography, digital smile design, and ceramic layering techniques. Simone is also actively involved as lecturer at numerous national and international congresses. In 2014, he was the winner of the contest IOP International Award, and now he is the owner of the Maffei Dental Laboratory in Modena, where together with his sister Elisa, he has a practice focused on aesthetic ceramic. Let's hear Simone Maffei from Italy talking about combined options and materials for indirect aesthetic restorative dentistry. This is one lecture that not only all the dental technicians should watch, as also all the dentists. Hope you enjoy.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Simone Maffei. I'm a dental technician from Italy. And my topic of today, of my lecture, is combined option and material for indirect aesthetic restorative dentistry. I want to start with this picture. This picture is, in my opinion, the state of the art for indirect restoration today. And it's funny because just a few years ago, I think it was impossible to say something like that, because this crown is made by CAD-CAM and this crown is made by zirconia full contour. Before that, before this material, what we have in our hand, what we can use as a beautiful aesthetic restoration was something like that. The state of the art was the feldspar ceramic over refractory dye. But today we can reach more or less the same aesthetic result with more strength with this new material. So that means that our work is completely changed, because the material is completely changed in the last years. When we have to use this indirect restoration, I want to start a little bit from the beginning. When we have to keep the vitality of the tooth, when we want to make less prep, anti-tooth tissue like this, when it depends also from the expectation, the aesthetic expectation and the age of the patient. Of course, also the cost you have to consider it, because indirect restoration is more expensive than direct restoration. And also it depends how many teeth are involved in our treatment plan. And the occlusion a little bit, also depends from the antagonist, if it's possible or not. And I have to consider the strength of the restored tooth, what remain after the prep, and also, not the last, the skills and the attitude of the dentist, because not all the dentists are able to make very beautiful and very good direct restoration. So this is the parameter, the selection criteria for select direct or indirect restoration. And if I choose direct technique, direct restoration, the indication is sigillation of the caries and the cavity class 1 and class 2 is small and medium. I have more respect of the health tissue, less cost, but it depends. It depends of the timing. Of course, the results depend of the skill of the dentist, and the result is less stable. But this is not so true. It's less stable because the composite that we use inside of the mount is not in the right condition. It's not completely dry. It's not so easy. Get beautiful result in this way. If I choose indirect technique, the indications are for multiple and complex restoration. In case, for example, of fracture of the tooth, if I want to modify the shape with something like additional, or if I have to restore big cavity. The advantage, I have more aesthetic because aesthetic is controlled by outside. I can choose optimal morphology, but it also depends from the skills of the dental technician. More chromatic stability, this is right, because the material that I work outside of the mount it's worked in a better way. The disadvantage are the cost, because it's more expensive, and the time, because you need more time for do. So we can say that the indication of this indirect restoration is all cases that require the class cavity reconstruction with large interproximal area to be reconstructed. When I have very big restoration and it's not possible to do this directly. But also the different reconstruction needs different materials. It depends which kind of restoration I have to do. I have to select the right material, because not all material are right for all restoration. In case, for example, of partial restoration like inlay, onlay, or additional, with additional I means like the additional veneer, I have the right material for do that. Also for classic veneer, also for crown, I can select different material. And I need to know what material I have, what material I can use, because not, I say before, not all material are right for each restoration. So today, for indirect restoration, we can choose metal ceramic, for example. It's very old-fashioned material. We can choose the way of old ceramic restoration, or composite, or hybrid composite is something new, workable by CAD/CAM. We can choose acrylic or polymer and fiber. All of this material have to be understood, because everyone have the proper characteristic, different mechanical property, different aesthetic result, and is a specific indication. I won't start with metal ceramic. Now we will do a small analysis of each one. So when we talk about metal ceramic restoration, it's something very old style. I call it old style, but still working in some cases, depends. Especially when I have discolored preparation and I want to do a very good masking effect of my crown. I want cover completely the crown of the color of the prep. Or for example, when I have this periodontal preparation with when the doctors separate the root of the tooth, and I need something very precise, and this is not so easy to do with CAD/CAM. It's not so easy, it's not impossible. You can, but you need a very good skill with CAD software. Then if I want very good predictability, because this restoration have a very long follow-up, and you can, if your restoration is really precise on the prep, you can be sure that's still working for a very long time. And then if I have prosthetic restoration with attachment, like combined prosthetic, in this case you can do also today with zirconia restoration with CAD. but it's not so easy, and it's not so predictable in my opinion. When we have to do this kind of restoration, I prefer still use a metal ceramic with a metal attachment. So a case like this is the beauty of metal ceramic restoration, because a case like this is very difficult to do with, in my opinion, in my hand, it's very difficult to do with CAD/CAM system. And it's better if you're still working with metal ceramic, why not? Or a case like this, in this case you have the prep is absolutely dark, and in this case of course I can do also with zirconia coping, but I want to be sure that I have to start with something that completely block the light and completely cover this dark prep, and we choose the metal ceramic restoration. Of course this is not perfect restoration, but this is real life, real cases, and yeah, I think at the end we can say that it worked. Or a case like this, again, they have discolored roots, there is a metal post, and the doctor selects metal ceramic restoration again. Or a case like this where we have only two central prep and the lateral is missing, and the doctor decide for a metal ceramic restoration because we want something very precise on this knife edge prep. The two incisors are made with knife edge prep, and the doctor wants something very very precise, with a very good fitting, and with two extensions on the lateral, and decide for metal ceramic. And yes, with the good layering you can have good integration. So then we have all ceramic restoration. In the world of all ceramic restoration, we have many things. We can do inlay, onlay, crown, and veneer. For that reason, we have many possibilities, more than metal ceramic. It's called more aesthetic material because it's more translucent. But in my opinion, we cannot say that the translucence is called aesthetic. Okay, no, I don't want always have very good translucence in my restoration. It depends on the case. So we have different strength. We can select. You have high strength or low strength, and different workability. I can work on this material. Is all ceramic restoration in a traditional way, like press technique, or with a CAD/CAM. I have many possibilities. We start to talk about the crowns, and the first selection is if I want to work with high strength oxide based, all ceramic like zirconia restoration, or silica based, synthetic glass based, or feldspar ceramic. This is two big family. And it's important to understand the difference of this family of restoration, because each one have different mechanical property and different result and different indication also. It depends also from the prep. So I do now these two different. I want to make analysis of two different approach. It depends of the aesthetic result. It depends of the prep. One I call old-fashioned style is lithium disilicate or ceramic painted. Very easy to do. Is handmade process because I start from handmade wax up. Then I press it with oven. I can reach more or less from 400 to 500 megapascal of flexural strength, so I have material that are really strong. And I need also very small investment because I don't need many things for do that. The other way is the digital way. I can do full contour or lithium disilicate restoration, full contour zirconia, also painted. I work only in a digital way, so the CAD wax up, not the handmade wax up. Then I go to the milling process. I can get from 400 to 1400 megapascal of flexural strength, and I need medium or big investment because I have to buy a CAD/CAM system. I will show you later two cases made it, one with old-fashioned style with lithium disilicate and other one with digital way, and you can compare. So if we talk about the strength, from feldspathic ceramic to zirconia, I of course increase the strength, and the middle I have leucite reinforced feldspar, lithium disilicate, cubic zirconia, alumina, but now alumina is not still working, not so much. I think I can say that this is out of the market. And then high-strength zirconia restoration. And the opposite side, we have the translucence. And of course, from feldspathic, I have high translucence, to zirconia, I have less translucence. And then we have to balance this translucence and strength for get very good result at the end. And if we mix these two graphics, what we will have? We will have that in the middle there is lithium disilicate and cubic zirconia. And these two materials today in my laboratory are the most used for our restoration. Of course, we still use feldspathic ceramic for veneers. In my opinion, still a little bit better. And also we still use zirconia when we have big restoration, like bridge or like full arch. But when we talk about zirconia, we have to answer to this question: are all zirconia the same? This is a very good question. Why? Because here more or less you have the composition of this yttria stabilized tetragonal zirconia. It's more or less the same for each factory, but there is difference during the process. I mean, during the fabrication of this disc. And yeah, at the end, the characteristic, like flexural strength, are more or less the same if the characteristic and the composition of the material are the same. But what is the difference is in the pre-sintered blanks, because the fabrication methods and the homogeneity of the blanks affect the material property. Also, the purity of the powder that the company use for create this disc is very, very important. And also at the same time is important the process that they use for create this disc. You can see here, this is the quality press process. Is called cold isostatic press, that use the company that provides to create the most high quality disc. So you start from axial pressing, the zirconia powder is pressed, and then after this axial pressing, they put on the water this disc, and then go in the cold isostatic press. You have pressed the disc from each direction, and then you have a material very, very compact. And this property of this disc can get more aesthetic result, and also you have more easy milling. So until just a few years ago, the golden standard for this full contour zirconia was something like that. And when I see at the beginning this kind of restoration, I was a little bit worried, because if the company talk about the future, this is the future, this will be the future, this beautiful restoration. In my opinion, this wasn't very, very far from beautiful result. And yeah, I always compare this as this full contour zirconia, something like a painted oyster, because still I have this metal reflection and this so opaque result, and this is, in my opinion, was terrible. And this was just few years ago, 6 years ago. Then of course there is evolution of material, evolution of the company provide to make something better and better and better. And today I think we have reached very good result with this cubic zirconia system. So the indication is, of course, high translucent aesthetic zirconium oxide. You can do full anatomic crown or a veneered crown. You can do 3-unit bridge in the front area. And also you can make molar restoration. And they say that you can do also inlay as well, onlay and veneers. But in my opinion, it's too much. You cannot do inlay, onlay and veneer, especially veneer with this cubic zirconia. There is other material that can do this kind of restoration better than this. But this is very interesting. They have the average of flexural strength is from 600 to 800, more or less. And they have very high value of translucence. It's more or less we can compare as lithium disilicate. In the middle, from this cubic zirconia to the traditional zirconia, there is something mixed, because many companies now provide to zirconia that have from 850 to 1000 megapascal of flexural strength, and they combine these two kinds of zirconia. All the material and all of these material are in continuing evolution. But today we can say that if you look this picture, I think we can say that there isn't any kind of difference from the cubic zirconia to the lithium disilicate. If you look here, the tooth 45 is lithium disilicate restoration painted, and the 46 and 47 are zirconia, cubic zirconia monolithic. And yes, it's absolutely comparable, the result, the aesthetic result, also in the mount. With this new zirconia, we can do implant crown, like the molar, or we can do full contour crown. Of course, the aesthetic is a painted aesthetic. If you want the maximum aesthetic, in my opinion, you have always to layering a little bit the crown. But if you want to compare this cubic zirconia restoration to the IMAX restoration, also full contour, I think we have more or less the same result. We can compare absolutely. So I want to show you now two cases. One made it with digital way, with full contour zirconia, and the other one in traditional way with lithium disilicate. This was the initial situation of the patient. They want to restore all the posterior. I've already done 5 veneer and 1 crown on the upper jaw from other dental office, and then coming and want to restore, of course, the support on the posterior, because they start to have a chipping on the lateral. You can see on the tooth 1, 2, and because they don't have lose completely the support on the posterior. And what we do, the doctor make a preparation and for the crown, for the thin crown on the posterior area, and we work in a traditional way with traditional impression, not digital impression. We create a model, and then we digitalize this model, we scan it and put on the scanner, and we design all the restoration, all the posterior restoration with the software. From the software, we go on the milling process, and we have select the in-house milling production we produce by ourselves with open system, because we have many advantages. If you work on this way, in my opinion, is better and better than if you send your file to big milling center, for example. What is this advantage? Is the selection of the disc, the selection of the raw material, is the milling strategy, because you can select the right milling strategy. You can do the pre-sintering infiltration if you want, make some small adjustment of the color or the translucence of your restoration. You can adjust before sintering, and then also you can control the sintering process, because it's very important that for each kind of zirconia you have to follow the direction that the company provide to you. So this is the result just after sintering. No glaze here, no touch with burns. It's just the crown that take it out from the oven. And I think we can be very happy with this aesthetic result. You can see here the comparison from the digital to the analog, to the reality, not the analog, sorry. And this is the result after painting. We still use this kind of 3D painting ceramic stain, and this staining provide to give you the right vitality of the restoration of your zirconia restoration. As you can see here, you can have very good translucence. You can see the light go through, and you can make adjustment of the chrome. And yeah, I think it's worked in a very good way. So this is all the posterior put it on the mount, fixed it, and then this case was finished with 6 lower veneer for this specific case. In according to the preparation, we use the feldspar ceramic on the refractory die, and then we have to redo also one crown on the upper jaw that have a chipping, remember. You have remake it and also in zirconia layered. This is the 6 lower veneer, and you can see here there is no big difference from this veneer to the posterior full monolithic. You start on the premolar, start a full monolithic zirconia. You can see here, posterior made it with zirconia. The 6 upper anterior, I think it was veneer made it with feldspar, but I'm not sure. The tooth 1, 2 is our crown, and also the 6 lower veneer made it on feldspar. Here the result, full mount restoration. As you can see here, it's I think very good integration, the comparison before and after. And before restoration and then after restoration. Yeah, I think it is, especially for the laboratory side, it's very good option because you can reach very good aesthetic, good strength, with in an easy way. You can work on it in an easy way because you made it by CAD-CAM, you have everything under control, and I think it's very nice. So the other case that I want to show you is a case of this patient. I call it old-fashioned style. It's because it's made it by lithium disilicate. This young patient start to have a problem of abrasion of anterior tooth. As you can see here, because they lose completely the support on the posterior and start to have a lot of problem on the anterior tooth. And they say, doctor, I'm not happy with my incisor, I want to replace it. I want something better. And the doctor say, okay, you need also more stability on the posterior. What we can do, what we have done, it's make a digital planning. From digital to analog, we make handmade full wax up from anterior to posterior because we have also increased the DVO. We made the silicone index, and then we do the test drive with this mock-up. When we have the okay from the patient, when the patient say, okay, I like it, this restoration, we have just to follow this direction. And it's very easy now because everything is planned, and the doctor wants to start with the posterior. They prep as overlay restoration because we want to do the selection, in this case was lithium disilicate and with adhesive bonding. It's very predictable. And you can see here we make the full wax up and then we press it and painting. It's very also easy to do, nothing difficult, you have very good precision. At the same time, this material can give you very precise occlusion. Here the result, of course, on the vestibular side you can see the line that there is between the prep and our restoration because it's monolithic restoration, and always you can see this line is not so easy hidden this. Always you have this small line, but this is not so big problem. Here all the posterior restoration in the mount. Now I have good stability in this patient, and the doctor start to prep the anterior. Very, very thin preparation. They call it 360 veneer because it's very, very thin. You make a selection of the color shade, the shade guide. And we decide to use this lithium disilicate cutback technique. The palatal side still on the lithium disilicate, and the incisal part in the vestibular side, it's layered with feldspar ceramic. It's the same for 6 upper. In the lower, we made only 2 small veneer, additional veneer on the tip of the canine for recreate the canine guidance. And because the 6 lower anterior don't need to be reconstructed, have only small abrasion on the incisal edge, but the patient say no, it's okay. Okay, we restore the 6 upper. This is the aesthetic integration. The other side, you can see on the canine, on the lower canine, the small additional veneer and the smile of the patient. This is the integration of the lip, the aesthetic of interior, of course. And this is before and after. So I think we can say that this is a good result, done always in an easy way, because when you press this restoration from the wax, you can get the same result as you have planned on the mount. From the mock-up to here is not so difficult to get. So then with this old ceramic restoration, you can do inlay and onlay also as well, and this is very interesting. The indication are the same as a composite restoration. It's better for a big reconstruction full mount because with ceramic material you have more stability, and you can do all in the only one step, not one by one. And yeah, when you have full mount restoration, it's more easy to do with, my opinion, with ceramic. It's more comfortable for the laboratory side, and then you are sure that you have stability for long term. Then I want to show you just a few cases made it by lithium disilicate press and paint technique. Very easy. The doctor prep these tooths, and we provide to make a wax up and then press it and bond it. It's predictable and easy to do, just 2 appointments. Have a look, just few cases. Again, they have to restore, prepare as online, and then bonding our restoration. And here again, wax and press and bond it. See, this is very good combination between the strength and the aesthetic result and the workability in the daily routine. Other thing that we can do with the old ceramic restoration, of course, is veneers. The indication of veneers is more or less easy because today they have expanded this indication because we have new material, because also the hygiene of the patient are improved, and also because the bonding process is more and more easy, because the factory, the company provide to give to the dentist always new protocol for bonding, and make it more easy every time. So the veneers are used for cosmetic and functional correction in case of hypoplasia or abrasion of enamel, discoloration or a small fracture of the crown. You can repair also the existing crown. You have to close the if you have to close the stema or a defect of alignment, and you can always work on this veneer, but work with veneers, especially with this kind of veneer, very thin, it depends always of the skill of the dentist and the dental technician, because yes, the material help you a lot, but when you have to manage this small piece of ceramic, you need to be very, very careful, because they have, until before bonding, they don't have a very good strength. It's very aesthetic material, but it's at the same time with a very small strength. You have to just to be careful. So, in my opinion, I don't want boring you now with cases of veneers. You can see many cases on the web or during the congress. I want just spend few words about what is important, really important in my opinion, when you do veneer. Sometime I heard that some dentists say, "Oh, I can do very beautiful veneer because I have a very good dental technician," and this is true, because the veneers are made by dental technician, but at the same time, for have a very good result for the patient, the most important, the most aesthetic result that you can give to your, that you can do for your patient. In my opinion, the most important thing is the teamwork, because I cannot do good veneer if the prep are not good, and it's very, very important for the veneer, the prep. And it's important at the same time the impression. I need very clear and good impression for do good veneer. And also, when I have finished my veneer and I deliver it to my client, I want to be sure that they use my veneer, they keep in their hands in the right way, and they bond it in the right way. This is most important. So at the end, it's true that the veneer are made by dental technician, but it's all about teamwork, because I can do the most beautiful veneer, but if they go in the wrong hands, I'm sure that the patient will be not happy. So this is just a sample of what we can do with veneer. This patient have a big diastema and very bad harmony of the tooth, and we restore it with small prep, and then with this wings veneer, because we have tried to close this big space with the wings of our veneer. Of course, at the end is a question of layering, is a question of texture, and this is made by dental technician. But if the doctor don't take care about pink part, don't take care about bonding, we cannot get very good results. So the veneer is made with a teamwork. So other material after this big world of full ceramic restoration is the composite. With the composite we have many possibilities again, because we can do as well crowns, inlay only, and veneers. Is aesthetic, because this material have very good reaction with light. They have more biomimetic effects. Of course, it depends on the prep. I can choose different workability, traditional way or CAD-CAM, also with the composite. I have a little bit more edging process, because it's not so stable as ceramic reconstruction, and they have medium strength. Just a few samples of what we can do with this composite restoration. In our laboratory we use the composite especially for doing this inlay only, or when we have this some big implant cases where someone on the implant still won't use the not ceramic but composite, because they have a shock absorber effect. So this is just a few samples of reconstruction of this tooth made it by composite, and here again 2 molar. Just we made it this inlay only, not with press technique. We made with spatula, with traditional way. We still prefer. Here again, one thing that is really important for when you talk about composite restoration is the aesthetic in black and white. So in the X-ray you have to see where is your composite. You need a composite that is radiopaque. In this case we use the composite radiopaque. And here again another cases with the crown in the middle and inlay on the premolar and on the last molar. As you can see, you have very good integration in the mount, and it's worked for a long time. And then also today there is a protocol for put the composite over zirconia framework. There is a specified protocol, some company have it, and this is very interesting because the result that you can reach from this adhesion between composite and zirconia framework, if you use the right bonding, is better and better than the bonding that you can have from ceramic and zirconia. This is incredible. You have the advantage of zirconia coping, of zirconia framework, and then the advantage of layering of composite, like shock absorber or the possibility of make small correction in the mount in case of chipping, for example, something like that. Then we have hybrid composite. Hybrid composite material, it's again something really new. They have same indication as composite, crowns, inlay, onlay, and veneers. So I write here less aesthetic because it's monolithic, but today the company start to produce this block of hybrid composite multi-layer. So this is not so true as aesthetic, because now today we can have also layered monolithic restoration. Is medium strength from 150 to 220 megapascal of flexural strength. It's only for CAD/CAM process, it's not possible work by hand. They have a shock absorber effect, and this is very important on implant restoration. Of course, is ideal for chairside restoration. What are these hybrid composite? It's nanofilled. It's more or less from 15 to 30% of resin matrix and 70 to 85% of nanoceramic. So this is ceramic millable. It's not only composite. They have a lot of nanoceramic inside. And yeah, this is just a comparison between different material that we have on the market, and you can see here is there is big difference. But what is more and more important than the flexural strength in this case is the breaking energy. The breaking energy is what they provide to give you this shock absorber effect. As you can see here, for example, the Emax CAD. With the Emax CAD you have more and more strength, flexural strength, because it's 306, but they have 0.6 of breaking energy. That means that your material is brittle. So then after milling, what we can do with this restoration, with this material, you can make your choice. You have different possibility. You just remove from the pin, and then you can paint with composite color, or you can make directly polishing. It depends, of course. If you use multi-layer block, it's a good choice, make directly polishing. Or if you want more aesthetic, you can just paint it. Or another way is layer it with composite. You make something like a cutback, and then you add your composite, layer it, and you have very strength, core, strength coping, and over there you have aesthetic of the composite. So at the end, after work, after milling, layered or painted is your choice. What we can do, what we do with this composite made by CAD/CAM in the laboratory is this small crown, single crown on implant. It's a screwable crown with the T-base inside, and then we paint. You have good aesthetic with this shock absorbing effect, and yes, the patients say that is very comfortable. Of course, the aesthetic, it's the monolithic aesthetic, Okay, it's not layered in this case, but you have a strength, and it's interesting. Or with this material you can work on a digital workflow. In this case was from a digital impression, and we produced this inlay by CAD-CAM, completely by CAD-CAM. And yes, is another possibility. I don't want to say that it's better or not. Of course, you have more strength than traditional composite because the material is more compact. You have to accept a little bit the less aesthetic that you can get with this material. So other family of materials that we can use for this indirect restoration is acrylic. Of course, acrylic is only for provisionals, maybe long term, but for provisional. What we can do is eggshell, for example, technique, or CAD-CAM, or maybe you can work on CAD-CAM or traditional way. This is a sample of this amazing CAD-CAM restoration. It's unbelievable. This is eggshell provisional, and you can see here is 0.2 millimeter of thickness with the external shape. It's exactly the shape that the patient had before prep the tooth, and this kind of provisional is really precise. We use multi-layer disc for do that. And then you have 0.2 millimeter of resin with dentin and enamel. This is amazing. Just a sample of eggshell provisional for these cases. This is the initial situation. We produce it by the CAD-CAM. We mill it, this provisional eggshell. You can see the thickness, 0.2 millimeter. Then we paint with composite color. And this is the result after rebasement in the mount. It's very interesting, this technique. It's just the first provisional. You can do in an easy way, and you have more strength than traditional material, traditional acrylic, because this disc is coming from the factory. Our other sample is this big implant restoration. This is the first provisional, milled by CAD-CAM from this disc, and then we painted with this composite color. You can see here, very easy way. And this is with this composite color, you can see. Yeah, as a first provisional, it's very, very good, and you can do this in an easy way. So the last material that I want to spend just few words, because it's something very new, is the big word of polymer and fiber. So I mean the PIE restoration, polyether ketone. You have two big family, one is PEEK, other one is PEG. In my opinion, it's two new material. Is on the market from 3-4 years, more or less. You can work on it with CAD-CAM or press technique. The company suggests to use it for superstructure and the implant restoration, but in my opinion don't have sufficient test in the mount. So I'm not in university, I have a small laboratory, and I don't want to make a test for the company. For that reason, I'm waiting with this restoration, with this material. I don't want to use it now. Maybe in the next 5 years, after just I have see what's happening in the mount, we decide to use it. There is a possibility to use, but in my opinion, it's too new. I want still waiting. So my conclusion for this lecture of today is that you can choose today for indirect aesthetic restorative dentistry many material. I always want that my client suggests to me his selection, like I have made this prep, I want the crown with this material, but at the end I won't always put the last word on the material selection, because when I have the model or when I look the impression on the screen, if are digital impression, I won't check all the thing, all the parameter, and then I won't select the right material for this case, for that cases. So that's always a question about teamwork. The teamwork is very, very important. It's not possible that the client send me the impression and say, I want to do this with this, because if I look that there is something better, if I see that there is something better for the patient, it's important that I can say my opinion about the selection of the material. So what will happen in the future, where the industry want to bring us? This is just my opinion. It's funny. Always they want to go in this model-less dentistry. New materials are coming for CAD/CAM and 3D printing, but we have to be careful with this new material. My suggestion is wait a little bit. We have today a lot of material that you can choose for your restoration. Don't always go for looking something don't go always to looking something new. It's important to know the material that you use in the lab, and you need maybe a few years for understand how it's work, this material. So be careful with this new material. There will be a greater digitalization in the industry, and this is not stop it. In my opinion, will be a fever laboratory. This fever laboratory, we will have lower price for mass production and higher price for handmade high quality restoration. So this is your choice. You have to select where do you want place your laboratory, in the mass production, and you have to adjust your workflow to this massive production, or if you want to work with high quality handmade restoration, of course with the support of digital technology, you have to choose this way. It's not possible combine, especially if your laboratory is small. It's not possible make production and high quality. Your hands can do the difference. Your hands still working good, I think. And because what we miss today with this CAD/CAM technology, in my opinion, we miss two small but very important things. One is the surface texture, because all the monolithic material is not so easy to work with very good and natural surface. I don't want to say that this is impossible. We are also working on it. We try to make something better every time. But the surface texture with this very strong material is not so easy to get. So we have to keep this on the handmade side. And the other thing is the depth of layering. The depth of layering is something that today the digital world cannot provide to you, to your restoration. I mean this is upper veneers, and the depth of this structure, this texture, and this layering is not possible today get from the digital solution, completely digital monolithic solution. Also cases like this is a full restoration. Posterior made it with monolithic crown, zirconia, and anterior with feldspar veneer. Or case like this. When you need this kind of matching with the natural tools, the lower are natural, the upper are veneer. When you have to emulate this kind of layering, is not possible only by painting or with monolithic. You need something that are more and more closer to the nature. So that's it. My lecture is finished. I want to say thank you for watching, and I want to say also thank you to Joao for inviting me to this this event. This is very funny. I've talked more or less 1 hour with my computer, and so thank you so much for everything. Bye.